Hi, my name is Theodore Cottingham, and I am looking for people like me who know there's more than you've ever been told, than you've ever been taught. But some of you have written about it. Some of you have had experiences where you experience something which seems to confirm to you that you experience another world, not one waiting to consume you, but one in which you are master of, creator of, where you can create. You can fly. You can do all sorts of normal things that seem abnormal to us on earth, who seem to be limited to earth. Some of you have written about these things. Some of you may have been afraid to write about the experiences that you've had. You've been afraid to tell people. Thinking people might label you loony, write you off, consider you part of the fringe. And I understand that. I love you still. I love you whether your original identity is really in the origin of your original identity or not. Because I know many of you are from different places around the world, around the cosmos, and farther. And you see, the ones I am looking for are people who know this and people who are willing to learn this, people who are willing to be born again. But not in a religious sense, not to serve religion, not to serve a church, not to dedicate your life to the doctrines in a book. I'm looking for people who care, who at the heart of your existence is love. And it is to love people, not dominate them. Not just be successful, not just to control people, not just to maintain your arrogance, your superiority, debasing others. I know many of you. I've known you before. Many of you have known many of you before. Don't you understand? We have all been one. One what? One love. Love of what? Love. A noun. Love. A force, a state of being. What happened? We fell. Don't you know you can fly? Doesn't it seem reasonable? Not in today's normal standard vernacular, but doesn't it seem reasonable that we can travel by thought and that we can communicate telepathically? That we can communicate without technology. That if I know you, I know your name. If I'm aware of you, in an awareness that doesn't isolate us all from each other, that we can communicate. See, there is a state of being that does not isolate us from each other. It's called the promised land. It's called heaven. It's called Israel in some Bibles. The Israel that is not molecular. The Israel, the promised land that is interdimensional. Interstellar. This is what I'm talking about and who I'm looking for. I'm looking for people who want to learn this because you already have something that stirs within you when you hear these things and you identify with them. And there's an artifact of love. There's an artifact of the seed, not just remembrance, but a tangible seed, tangible in the real world. And this, my friend, is not the real world. You are an interstellar, immortal, infinite being, a creator. And that is your original identity. Not if you will assume it, but if you will enter it. And you can only enter it in humility. You grow your way into it. We mature. We learn these things. How do we learn? Who's writing the books? Who's talking? Is it all about just science fiction? Or is part of science fiction real? My friends, when I teach like this, I am channeling whether you think so or not. I am communicating love, whether you think so or not. This is my intent. This is what I am creating. This is what I'm looking for. This is what I'm expecting. This is what I choose. Because I choose to no longer be dumbed down by the ways of man and its cattle prodding process called religion to keep us in a corral, to keep us ignorant, to fool us as fools. My pattern for all this? Jesus. Jesus the pattern. I'm not a religious man. Some would call me very spiritual. Some would laugh. That's okay. I'm who I am. I sought to be me. And love began to teach me who I am. Over a period of years, I began to channel. And what love taught me has been substantially different than what Orthodox Christianity taught me. I've been channeling for 21 years. I didn't used to call it that. Oh, that was, I guess, the New Age term. New Age. Don't want anything to do with New Age stuff. But that was then. Today is now. And you're different than you were yesterday, too. We're all changing. What are we changing into? What are we choosing? Life or death? Life and death is in the power of the tongue. Life. Death? Is death your last enemy? Are you willing to defeat it? Are you willing to see a better story, a larger story, a more comprehensive story? A story that you enter not by just saying a few words, like some little incantation or some mantra that you repeat to yourself to death, trying to accomplish something by saying. That doesn't get it. I love you, and I demonstrate my love like this. I share these videos. I made them all available to you all over the world. Anybody that has internet access who wants to avail themselves to them, as far as I know, can access YouTube. I haven't asked for a dime, but I've started a school. And that school requires operations if it operates. And after some 20 years of channeling and talking about freedom, and my words are free yours, learn this way, a school, tuition free. I understand. So many people on earth don't value something unless they pay for it. You may or may not be one. But I'm not behind a paywall. I'm inside of you if you want to know. The flesh man speaking, or is something else speaking through me, or am I speaking through me, or will you speak through me? Or are we all speaking words from other lands, other languages, other forces, other planets? Are you willing to not be afraid of God, of New Age, of religious terms? Are you willing to no more be heretical about who you really might be? The Bible says God is love. I've discussed that in my recordings a number of times recently and differentiated that. There's much to learn. And time is not like it used to be. Time has changed. And the times have changed. And you can change. And you can learn from within. And I have a school, and I invite you to become a member of this school. A membership. Yes. You can find it on my website if you like. And that's enough said about that for now. The invitation is to become a member. You see, when you're in school, it's costly, and this is the costliest school of all. Because this is the school where if you come into this school and begin to study, this is not about just watching a few YouTube videos. This is about your life. Doing what with it? No longer accepting destruction. Are you willing to construct a new life? Are you willing to lay down everything you thought you knew about this world, about your life, about who you are, where you came from, your original identity, that God is love or not? Or was there something before God? And what was God's motive to create hell? What was God's motive? Or is there more to God than we have thought? Because we've been so elementary in the way we have thought and the way we have taught each other. We've wanted to be rational, logical, accepted. We want things to be predictable. We want comfort. This is a school of leadership. I am not religious. I am love. I am love in two shoes. I define me this way because I have channeled words for years that tell me I am love in two shoes. I finally believe it. I have learned. I have learned how to believe it. I have learned new meanings plural, of that word love. I have learned new meanings of the word God. Born again. Original identity, interstellar, immortal, infinite. It's been quite an adventure. I love good coffee. I am a simple, common guy who sought God, who wanted to know Jesus. I didn't want to know about Jesus. I wanted to know. So there were a couple of phrases that I keyed in on, that I caught, that I was drawn to, that I felt had meaning. I wanted to know Jesus and the power of his resurrection and the fellowship of his sufferings. So I began to think long and hard. Do I want to know Jesus and the fellowship of his sufferings? Do I want to suffer? I don't want to suffer. Maybe I don't want to know him that much. Him? You see, there's a price to knowledge. Because there's a flow to truth. I've said that so often. Truth is a flow. Wisdom is a flow. Maturity is a flow. It's a process of growth. And all the time, you can be thought of as growing your tree of life, for we all have one. The tree of life. It's not just a historical figment of somebody's imagination. It's an allegory. It's an allegory of the present day set of races who think they're humanity. But see, we're coming together. Even look at technology and the rate of change in technological advancement. Used to, everything was analog. Now, so much is digital. When you reproduce in an analog world, you suffer a tiny bit of degradation with every copy. Every copy gets a little less clarity, a little farther from the original. The digital doesn't suffer degradation with millions of copies. You simply have an original. Millions of copies of the original. My friend, there are so many analogous ways and subjects we can address. I suggest to you there have been many iterations of our world, of society, of people, humanities, many humanities, millions. How many planets are there? Where'd they all come from? Why are some lit and some not? How do they interconnect? Coronal mass ejections from the sun? What the heck? How do they affect us? Why does Earth have a magnetic shield to protect us from rays of the sun? What does protection from the rays of the sun do? What does a magnetic shield do? I don't want to be magnetic anymore. Subject to your protons, neutrons, electrons, and your words spinning me in the electromagnetic forces that you speak with, that you create algorithms with, that you create a certain syntax and live by your vernacular and want to infect me with it, you religious people. I don't want that. I reject that. I defy your gods because I learned love. How did I learn love? I learned a channel. And my friend, I advocate, I exhort, I implore, I encourage, I teach people to channel and to learn to know the difference of the sources and not just channel any spirit guide, not just channel something that comes to you to control your life. My friend, there are a lot of forces that seek only to exist in your mind because that is where they live. You think it's just a belief. What is a belief? Quantum, piece of energy. What's in that piece of energy? What does it look like? Is it a particle? Is it a wave? What do you know? What do you know about your neurons, your axon hillocks? What do you know about quarks and organelles? What do we know about the fabric of space, time, gravitational waves? My friend, the knowledge of God is free, but costs you everything. Cost you everything? Does it cost you your existence? No. It costs you everything that you have been programmed by, that you hold dear. Oh, I love the earth, the beauty of the earth. the natural. I love people. I love love. I love flowers. Yes, color. We love many things. We love, love, love. But we're coming into new definitions. We're no longer limited by the syntax of the past. The common vernacular of the religious will no more define our world, nor our origin in it. In the beginning, God created. It's a fearful thing to fall into the hands of an angry God. My friend, discernment is required for maturity, and maturity is required for knowing who you are. Otherwise, you'll wander in your desert until you die, simply experiencing the state of being insatiable, because you will always want. You will always want more. You will always want more money. You will always want that ideal romance, that ideal romantic relationship. You'll want to touch and control and live in comfort. And it's insatiable. It's insatiable. You cannot satisfy it. Not with the molecular, and not the way of the molecular. And those who teach this world is God created, and you accept a few beliefs, and then you become a follower, a spectator, a weakling, waiting on somebody else, waiting on your Santa Claus God to come serve you, heal you. Simply accepting death. Oh, it's appointed. Everybody dies, right? How can you defeat death? Well, if you don't know, doesn't mean you can't do it or that somebody else can't. You just don't have the knowledge of God, the knowledge of creation. But that knowledge is here on earth. I am that knowledge. I have that knowledge. I've written that knowledge. I've spoken it. I have over 1,000 videos on YouTube. And anybody who wants to can track, plot, learn the progression out of Christianity, where I was a common Christian, powerless, a seeker, to become who I am. And I'm no longer a seeker. I'm a creator. And I'm a leader. Because I suggest to you, you cannot begin to know who you are until you begin to be willing to lead you. And as you begin to lead you out of the belief systems that have held us in contempt of who we really are, literal contempt. See, so many things have been backward, inside out, upside down. We've been kept for what? Our energy. Kept here for our soul? No, kept here for our energy. You are the creator. You create life. And the life you create, you're living. But you may not be aware of all that lives inside of you, within your mind. So I'm talking about reclaiming your original identity. your identity as not being limited to flesh. Science fiction, you can call it. I'm talking about becoming born again. Oh, you thought millions of people were born again because they said a little prayer. They weren't born again. Well, by their definition, they may, because they think they adhere to a belief because they said a prayer. But you, me, how many times did I say that prayer? A sinner's prayer? I don't know, hundreds, thousands. I wasn't sure if I was saved. It was like, say, am I really saved? I don't know. It was terrifying when I was young. Am I saved? I don't know. I don't want to die at night and go to hell. Hell? Why did... My friend, you are eternal, infinite, more precious than gold. You are more precious than all the Bibles in the world. You, my friend, are the creator of you. And originally, there was but love. There was no unlove. There was no hell. Originally. Let's go back to the beginning of the origin. Prime creator, source, universe, original source. It doesn't, the term you use for it does not defeat it. So I call it original love. Original love, the original source energy that existed before any of this cosmos did as we know it. It's who we are, where we're from, what we exist as. And we have the ability. We have the capacity. To re-enter our original identity as unlimited beings. Interstellar. Interdimensional. Infinite immortals. This is a race. A race of what? One mind. One mind, one state, where all communicate, not limited to the wagging tongue, not limited to the attached neurons that use our power, not limited to electromagnetic forces. See, original love is not dependent on electromagnetic force of the sun, the effects of the sun, or anything else. Original love has no limitations. Original love creates original love. And you see the seed of that original, impermeable, incorrigible, perfect love. The seed of that is still within you. And that's what I'm talking to. That's what I'm talking with. That's what I hope to connect with. Those of you who are willing to know who you are, willing to walk in your leadership and no longer under a man, no longer under a religion. My friend, no longer under God. because we no longer fear God. We've diffused the Wizard of Oz, Santa Claus. We've defanged the devil. We have de-angered God. We've decreated the suffering that religion has created. And this is our new world, and this is what we're doing. And we're leaders. And if you won't lead, get out of my way. And even if you don't, I'll walk right through you. Because my word is intangible, immortal, infinite, interstellar. And I am my word. And my word is me. And I happen to be speaking in, speaking through, living in, existing as what you see in your mirror, if you will. At the moment, you're hearing me. But who is me? All who will be me. All who will be me. I am one. Holy, common as the day is long. Because I am all who will be me. And as you become me, you defeat death. Because you want to live forever? No. Because you want to remain on earth a flesh person forever and ever and ever? No. Gosh, I don't. We roamed the cosmos. We flew. There was only one language. In the beginning, one language. And it didn't need syllables. It didn't require the breath of air ejected from lungs because we were not binary. We were one. We were feminine. We didn't need anything molecular from a race of man. Learn to channel. Learn to learn from me. Learn to learn from you, through you, that love will speak directly. That is the promise of the new and living and everlasting covenant. It's a promise. It's the eternal promise of love. Learning to love is very costly. I've often thought about the story of the woman who has the costly perfume and anoints Jesus' feet. in spite of all the criticizers, the religious. Who is this woman to do such a thing? When you begin to learn love, touch love, speak love, and let love speak with you, there is an intimacy that you begin to experience of transcendence, where you no longer think about using that power, controlling that power, extracting the principles for your own selfish hubris. The only response is to love, to melt. I cry. There's more to this world than we have been taught. Then it's all available to you. All the knowledge of all creation is available to you. Yes, you. Little boy, little girl. Don't think you can learn everything you need to know for life and school. Eternal life, life among the stars, the cosmos, flight without thrust, without fuel, without molecules, is the original reality of you, molecular. I suggest to you, nothing delights. Love, perfect love, original love. Before the origin of this cosmos, nothing delights love more than to commune with you, heart to heart, for you to begin to understand who's behind the controls. You begin to learn from movies like The Matrix and The Wizard of Oz, The Adjustment Bureau, The Legacy of Tron, The Truman Show. You begin to learn over and over. Everywhere you look, there's information about the transcendence of your origin, and that the seed of who you really are is still within you. It has not been snuffed out. And as the creator, your power creates. You have the power of belief. You create with that belief. But in humility, in surrender, there is a synergy to transcend all other. The entry into the real is by surrender, because it's reclaiming, it's regaining who you really are, where you learn to reveal the revelation of all knowledge through you. And you're no longer saying, I can't do that. I can't make a live video on YouTube. Who are you kidding? With my face, my looks, my vocabulary, my this, my that. I can't do that. There's a lion in the street. I'd be criticized to death. When you begin to love, that criticism, those lion's teeth, the heat of the fiery furnace, will not determine your decision making, because your decision making becomes increasingly non-magnetic, non-molecular. And if you're willing to enter the state of being, Israel, nirvana, heaven, blissfulness, the state of who you really are, being what you really are, you begin to change. There is no unforgiveness. There's no grudge. There's no damnation. And all the damners, everyone who says this, that, or the other, or you will live in hell, they're ignorant. They don't know love. They may have never met love. They don't know love exists. They don't know their origin. And no matter how much they want to damn me, that spark of love is still there. And they have a choice of what to do with it. And you do too. This is a school. This is life. I preach love. I teach love. This is a school of love. The school of the creation of love. Because love is infinite. And the more you give it away, and the more tender you are with love, the more love you will have, the more love. And believe me, you won't possess it. And it won't possess you. Because you become it as it becomes you. And as it becomes you and you become it, this is my body and blood becoming the origin of the original of perfect love, perfection in a state of existence that knows no sin, knows no separation. Reignites love to be at the table of one, teaching love to be the teacher, the student. You become both. You are the student and you are the teacher. Because love teaches from within. You hear me as a man. From this vessel, you hear my voice. I call me Theodore. For you to begin to accept your original freedom, your original identity, where you had no responsibility to flesh, nor the molecule. And all the agreements that you made with flesh to remain in flesh will no more be, because you will empower you to disavow them. Take the vow of poverty no more, the vow of flesh. Remain under the authority of flesh no more. Come out. Be who you really are. Heal the earth, restore heaven here. We were all angels, and we shall be again, because the angels are God of the original, before love of control ever began to be created by the degradation of the iterations, farther and farther from the original creation. I've said much, and I hope it's meaningful to you. I'm a common guy. and I do great things. No, you do. I'm asking you to do them. And if I die, my words are still valid. You can defeat death. Jesus was the first born again. He learned to walk on water because he channeled. Call it channeling or not. He was taught directly. He learned the vernacular, the syntax. He learned the language. He learned the patterns of energy that gave him the information to unlock and no longer be limited to this flesh race. You can too. I love you. Thanks for listening. My name, TheodoreCottingham.com. My website, my name, TheodoreCottingham.com. Consider your power. Love is not powerless. Love creates. Original love creates. Pseudo love controls. Understand the difference. And let not control control you. Learn to discern. You see, I never wanted anybody else's mantle, but I wanted mine. I didn't want to live underneath the mantle, the authority of belief. Live love. Look in your mirror. Look into those beautiful eyes and see your spark of love. Feel the seed of love within you as you see your pupils dilate and your eyes change and see you smile at yourself. Love you. Love you with a love that's unconditional, a love that never fails, a love that never condemns you. Begin to love you. Love you, the original you in the origin of your power, grace, and glory. Regain who you really are by your love, because you are the decision maker. And you're deciding every day, every time you look in that mirror, every time you open your mouth. And I love you. Now be who you really are. Love, love. And thank you. I love you. Love your energy. Love your existence. Love your privilege. The greatest privilege you have is to surrender to be who you really are. Creator, creating again. Living no one else's words but yours in the mind of the purity, the pristine, perfect light of love that puts no one down, does not curse another, is not impatient, because you know your power. Begin to regain your power. And you don't regain your power sitting in a pew, listening to orthodox, anything. I'm asking you to be the real you, to understand meonics, to be the real me, the me that was the original, all of us angels who existed in perfect perfection before the cosmos became so screwed up. Magnetic. And let nothing interfere with your love life. Your love life. Your romance with the intangible, immortal, infinite. So that you, in fact, become it. As it teaches you, you become the Word. You become the energy of that very communication to no longer be in a state limited to this earth. This is what born again means. And it changes the earth because religion will now no more control the narrative of creation, of who we are, where we are, and what our ability capacity to create is. For now, we care and we love. So we begin to help each other grow each other's wings instead of ripping them off with damnation and comparison. If you're in the school, you care about each person individually, equally. There's no special people here. There's no haves and haves not. There's no anointed. There's no fivefold ministry. There's love. Love communicates. And love teaches. People will come to the school that have never heard English in their life. Who will teach them? Will you? Will you teach them English? Will you teach them how to use a knife and fork? Will you teach them what to do in a 5-course meal? When they sit down to a state dinner? I will. Will you? Love each other. Love that little girl, that little boy, toothless or not. Create your love, for you are the creator of love. And this is how you regain your identity. This is how you defeat death. This is how you defeat the degradation of love in the iterations of generations. You be who you are and love. You love each other. Curse, love, no more, beginning with you. Don't hold back your love for you. Let your love for you flow. Care. Not a prideful arrogance, but a delight in who you are. Thank you. I go now. I ask you to be love in 2 shoes, your name right here on your forehead. And enjoy this day. Enjoy your power. Enjoy your power, your power. Your power to smile. Your power to love. And let love flow in every way, every day. I'm Theodore Cottingham. You can email me. Questions, comments, whatever. You can email me, theodoreureka@gmail.com. You can write me at Box 34 in Eureka Springs, Arkansas for now. I go where I'm wanted. I go where my words are invited. I go where I am wooed to be. Not to touch my flesh, but to hear my voice, to feel my energy, for you to be it, transcendent, becoming the one I am, the infinite, immortal, interstellar, perfect love again. Thank you again. Thank you again for sharing. I love you. Wear your love and be nothing else. Be a new race. This is what born again is. Reclaiming the real you. And that's what this school is about. It's what I live. It's why I'm living. I ask you to live for this too. Perfect love. Good day. See ya.